Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Yeah, remember when the mainstream media was hyperventilating about Signalgate? A complete nothing burger story that was blown out of proportion. It was clearly an orchestrated hit against the White House, leaked to Jeffrey Goldberg, and the media ran with it, completely blowing it out of proportion, making exaggerated claims as if it's yet again another classified information scandal. They wanted so badly for that to be the story, but I remember saying back then, I was more interested in the successful military operations that were being highlighted in the conversation. And by the way, as the White House has stated a million times, none of the information is considered classified. There was no leaking of dates and times or specifics of any operations, but the media was focused on telling that story, but I was more focused on what they were celebrating. Successful operations against the Houthis. For me, that was the story. And well, now it seems as though that really is the story, as the Trump administration secures yet again another foreign policy win, and adding on to the Trump legacy and the track record, they've ended another conflict in the Middle East, supposedly coming to a deal with the Houthis after bombing them in a relentless campaign, where supposedly the Houthis have finally backed down and agreed not to attack vessels in the Red Sea. And I could just imagine Donald Trump saying, you think Biden could ever do something like this? Joe Biden could never. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this was the announcement from the Oval Office. Take a look.
We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight. We will honor that, and we will stop the bombings. And they have capitulated, but more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore, and that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that. I think that's very, very positive. They were knocking out a lot of ships going, as you know, sailing beautifully down the various seas. It wasn't just the canal. It was a lot of other places. And I will accept their word, and we are going to stop the bombing of the Houthis. Effective immediately.
Can you tell us a bit more about the deal that you've reached with the Houthis? That you
No, it's not a deal. They've said, please don't bomb us anymore, and we're not going to attack your ships.
And where did you hear about that?
It doesn't matter where I hear it. The very good source, I could tell you. Very, very good source. Would you say, Marco? I would say pretty good, right, JD? A very good source.
So basically we have the Houthis here, which are a terrorist organization funded by Iran, or funded by Iran selling oil to China, let's make that clear, where the chain of funds really comes from. But basically you got the Houthis in Yemen, who lately have been running wild. They've been attacking commercial ships, not military vessels, but commercial ships in the Red Sea, which obviously threatens global trade and stability in the region. And this has been ongoing for a while. Joe Biden has essentially done nothing except look the other way. And then, of course, Trump steps in and launches a full-on relentless attack. He goes scorched earth. And that was basically the topic of what was being discussed in those signal chats. The Trump administration was not going to look the other way. They launched hundreds of airstrikes. I'm sure you've seen some of the videos that even Donald Trump has been posting. There's one familiar image I could show you. I can't show you the actual military footage on this platform for obvious reasons, but I'm sure it's going to strike a lot of you guys as a familiar scene. Donald Trump's been posting this kind of stuff and gloating about their operations in the region. They've basically been unleashing hell on the Houthis. Here's a headline from back on April 4th. Trump shares footage of airstrike obliterating dozens of Houthis. Quote, "They will never sink our ships again." And well, fast forward to today, it seems as though they've pretty much given up. They've called it quits. Very quickly after Donald Trump's campaign, the Houthis, using the Oman government as basically a communications proxy, sent a message to the US government basically begging for a ceasefire. Then Donald Trump sent Steve Witkoff with the diplomatic mission, and now apparently got the Houthis to agree to stop their attacks. And apparently it doesn't end there. Marco Rubio was speaking on the topic, and then Donald Trump chimed in and hit us with a little bit of a cliffhanger here, speaking of a supposed deal with Saudi Arabia that apparently is very positive and absolutely massive.
This was always a freedom of navigation mission. These are, a band of individuals with advanced weaponry that were threatening global shipping, and the job was to get that to stop. And if it's going to stop, then we can stop. And I think it's an important development.
And we'll have maybe before we're going to, as you know, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. We're going to UAE and Qatar, and that'll be, I guess, Monday night. Some of you are coming with us. I think before then we're going to have a very, very big announcement to make. and I won't tell you on what. And it's very positive. I'd tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject, very important subject.
And so while of course there's a lot of people who are claiming that this is a win for the Houthis, not exactly sure how that works out, and just all kinds of takes trying to spin this as a negative, I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing it as a positive. I'm seeing it as this administration once again flexing American might to get results. We had rogue terrorist groups in the region attacking vessels and even threatening US military vessels. Trump sees that, puts his foot down, and now they've totally caved. To me, that's how you protect a country's interests. And it seems like Donald Trump is developing quite the track record here. Let's not forget in 2016 how he took office, and then through the first really 3 years of his administration, he basically completely obliterated ISIS. Remember the ISIS mess that Barack Obama left behind, which he stated on countless occasions was a very complicated mess, and there was no easy solution. We saw ISIS basically take over Syria and Iraq, a group that was known for horrific violence and beheading people on camera. Trump comes in and says, well, you know what? Let's deal with these mother effers, if you know what I mean. He unleashed American military might in very strategic fashion, gave generals the green light to do what needed to be done, removed a lot of the hurdles, and by 2019, ISIS was essentially wiped off the map. Well, I think Donald Trump approached this with the same level of seriousness, and the Houthis probably took a hint from Donald Trump's track record with ISIS, and they realized, yeah, just maybe we shouldn't poke the bear. It's amazing what American military might and diplomacy can achieve. No boots on the ground required, no endless war, no $100 billion in aid to stabilize the region. No, just American muscle and negotiation. And if this deal turns out to be exactly how the Trump administration is presenting it, well, it's yet again another massive victory in the long list of foreign policy victories. And I think Trump's developing a little bit of a legacy here. I think we're seeing the Trump formula: identify the threat, hit hard, secure the win, and then seal it with a deal. And so while the media is desperately focused for literally anything, any scandal, to spin negatively and to pin it on Donald Trump like this whole Signalgate nonsense, while they're focused on all of these distractions and all of this nonsense, Trump just seems to be stacking W's. He obliterated ISIS, secured multiple peace deals in the Middle East, calmed down the situation with North Korea, which Obama said was the greatest threat that we face, and now he's working on ending the conflict in Ukraine, and he's got the Houthis sitting down. I don't know, seems like one hell of a track record to me. If the region now stabilizes and global trade can go unimpeded, and then if Russia and Ukraine actually come to the table and a deal is secured there, what a foreign policy legacy this man will leave behind. But of course, at the end of the day, we'll have to see exactly what happens. These things are generally slow moving. We've got 3.5 years left of this Trump administration, well, a little bit more than 3.5 years, but you get what I mean. Let's see what happens. Let's see how all of this matures. But right now, I gotta tell you, despite the media noise, it seems like we're headed in the right direction on multiple different fronts. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.